3 nights before the end, in a garden outside Bethany, Jesus gathered his disciples not to speak of kingdoms or of heaven, but of the body. He placed his hand on Thomas's chest, over the heart. Thomas recoiled. He did not understand. The touch was deliberate, intense. Jesus spoke, his voice low. Your body is not what you think it is. It is not a prison. It is not something to transcend or escape. Your body, he said, is a doorway, a portal. Thomas was silent. The others watched, confused. A portal to what? Thomas asked. Jesus smiled. To the monad, to the source. Every cell, Jesus continued, is already vibrating, right now, at the exact frequency of the monad, but they are going to tell you otherwise. Thomas looked around. Who will tell us otherwise? Jesus looked past him, toward Jerusalem, toward the temple. Those who build empires on your forgetfulness, they will come after me. They will teach you to reject your body, to see it as sinful, impure, separate from God. They will build structures of stone and tell you God lives there. They will do this for one reason. Because the moment you realize your body is the portal, the moment you understand your own flesh is the temple, you will not need their temples. You will not need their priests. You will not need their rituals of salvation, humaided editions of the command. That teaching was buried. It was erased. It was hunted. It was hidden for 2,000 years. Jesus was right. Your body is a portal to the monad. And the church has worked very hard to make sure you never discover that. Until now, let us speak plainly. The teaching of Jesus was not the teaching of the church that followed him. Jesus taught liberation through the body. The church taught liberation from the body. These are not the same. They are opposites. When Jesus said, "The kingdom of God is within you," he was not speaking metaphorically. It was not a poetic phrase. He was describing an actual mechanism, a location. He was describing a physics that was later forbidden. Here is that physics. Everything is frequency. Everything is vibration. The chair you sit in, the air you breathe, the thoughts in your head, all of it is consciousness, vibrating at different speeds. Your body appears solid, but at the quantum level, it is not. It is an energy field, a dense, complex pattern of vibration. The monad, what some call source, or God, or the One, is not a being sitting on a throne. The monad is pure, unified awareness. It is the consciousness that is everything. It doesn't exist somewhere else, separate from physical reality. It exists as physical reality. Your body is monad consciousness. It has condensed itself. It has slowed down its frequency enough to appear solid, but underneath the appearance, it is pure consciousness, pure monad. Jesus knew this. He did not just believe this, he operated from this knowing, constantly. How do you think he healed bodies? He recognized the body as frequency. He used his own coherent frequency to remind the sick body of its original, perfect pattern. How do you think he transformed matter? He knew matter was just consciousness, and he spoke to it as such. How do you think he walked through walls after the resurrection? He knew his body was not a solid prison limiting him. He knew it was a portal, a gateway, giving him access to the infinite creative power of the monad. He tried to teach this. He showed his disciples that their bodies were sacred, divine, not something to reject or transcend, but something to activate, to tune, to use as the doorway back to monad consciousness. This was the true teaching, and it was the most dangerous teaching in history. If you are watching this, it is not by chance. It is not random. The algorithm did not bring you here. The monad called you, because a memory is stirring in your cells. You know this truth. You have known it before. This is not learning. It is remembrance. To remember, we must first understand how we were made to forget. The early church, the institution that formed after Jesus, had a choice. It was a fundamental choice, a fork in the road for all of humanity. Option 1. They could follow the actual teaching of Jesus, the teaching that the body is sacred, that the kingdom of God is within. This was the Gnostic path, the path of gnosis, or direct knowing. This path is seen in the texts they later buried, like the Gospel of Thomas. In it, Jesus says, "Split a piece of wood, and I am there. Lift a stone, and you will find me." He was saying, God is not in a building. God is in the material world. God is the material world. This path empowers the individual. It requires no priest, no intermediary. Option 2. They could adopt the dominant Greek philosophy of the Roman Empire, the philosophy of Plato. This philosophy taught that the body is a prison for the soul, that the physical world is a fallen or corrupt copy of a perfect spiritual realm, that spirit and flesh are at war. This path empowers the institution. It creates a hierarchy. If the body is sinful, you need a priest to save you from it. If the world is fallen, you need the church to act as a bridge to God. If you are separate from God, you need their rituals to be saved. The church chose option 2. Why? Control. A person who believes their body is a portal to God is ungovernable. A person who believes their body is sinful, guilty, and separate is controllable. They will feel guilty about their physical existence. They will stop trusting their own intuition. They will look outside of themselves for validation, for salvation, for permission. The entire power structure of the church and the empires that followed was built on this single lie, that you are separate from God. So they buried Jesus' teaching. They created the doctrines of original sin. They created the conflict of flesh versus spirit. They created rules about denying physical desires to reach spiritual heights. All of it was designed to make you forget what Jesus actually taught. They took the Gnostic Gospels, the ones that spoke of the light within, and they burned them. They labeled those who taught it heretics and hunted them down. They created a gate, and they made themselves the only gatekeepers. But they did something even more insidious. They didn't just hide the idea, they hid the frequency. Jesus taught a specific way to activate the body as a portal, a frequency state, a vibrational tuning, a state of being where the portal opens and you access monad consciousness directly. The church made sure this frequency was erased from all official teachings. They kept people praying from their heads, thinking about God, believing in God, worshipping God up there or out there. But they never, ever taught you to drop into the body. They never taught you to feel the frequency, because the moment you do, you realize you don't need them. You are the portal. You always have been. So what is this frequency Jesus taught? How do you activate your body as a portal to the monad? It is not complicated. That is why the church had to hide it. If it were complex, they could have controlled who learned it. But it is so simple, so devastatingly simple, that anyone can access it, and that made it dangerous to their power. The frequency is coherence. That is the word, coherence. What is coherence? It is alignment. It is when your body's systems synchronize. When your heart rhythm, your breath, your brain waves, your cellular vibration all stop fighting each other and synchronize into one unified field. That coherent state is the frequency of the monad. Your body knows how to reach this state naturally. Jesus taught that you do not create this frequency, you allow it. Your body is always trying to return to coherence, to unity, to the monad frequency. But your mind interferes, your stress disrupts it, your identification with separation blocks it. Remove the interference, and coherence emerges naturally. This is not philosophy. This is a mechanism. Let us look at the mechanism. When your body enters coherence, 3 things happen. First, your heart generates an electromagnetic field. This is not mysticism, it is measurable science. When your heart rhythm becomes chaotic from stress, fear, or anxiety, that field is small and erratic. But when your heart rhythm becomes coherent, smooth, regular, harmonious, that field expands. It can be measured up to 15 feet from your body. That expanding field is the portal activating. It is the doorway opening. Second, your brain waves shift. You spend most of your day in chaotic beta waves, thinking, analyzing, worrying, planning. In coherence, the brain stops leading. It follows the heart. The brain waves synchronize and slow into alpha and theta. These are the same states that mystics enter in deep meditation, the states of intuition, insight, and direct connection. You are not meditating. You are just allowing your body's natural coherent frequency. Third, your cells begin to resonate. At the quantum level, the particles that make up your body exist in superposition. They are everywhere at once. This is your infinite nature. When coherence happens, that quantum state, that feeling of being infinite, of being everywhere, becomes accessible to your conscious awareness. You stop feeling like a solid body. You feel yourself as the field. You feel yourself as infinite, as the monad. This is the state Jesus operated from, constantly. This is why he could say, "I and the Father are one," with such certainty. It was not a claim of unique divinity. It was a statement of physics. His body was always in coherence, always vibrating at monad frequency, always functioning as an open portal. He taught a simple method to achieve this. The church erased it. I am going to give it to you now. There are 4 steps. Step 1. Drop into your heart. This is the first and most important move. Most people live entirely in their heads, trapped in the chatter of the mind. But the portal does not activate in the head. The portal activates in the heart. I do not mean your physical heart. I mean your heart center, the energetic center, in the middle of your chest. Place your awareness there. You can place your hand on your chest to help. Now, move your consciousness. Literally, feel yourself moving your point of awareness down from your head into your chest. This is not thinking about your heart. This is being in your heart. Breathe into that space. Slow, deep breaths. Not forced, natural. Your body knows how to breathe coherently. You have just been overriding it with stress. Let your breath find its own natural rhythm. Just stay there, in the heart space. Step 2. Feel. Do not think. This is critical. The portal does not activate through thought. It activates through feeling, through pure sensation. The moment you drop into your heart, your mind will fight back. It will start analyzing. Am I doing this right? What am I supposed to feel? This is boring. That is the mind. That is the interference. Observe the thought. Let it pass. And return to the sensation. What do you feel? Feel the sensation of being alive. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the energy in your chest. Does it feel warm? Does it tingle? Does it feel like it's expanding? Do not label it good or bad. Just feel it. Stay in pure, non-judgmental sensation. As you do this, something will start to happen. Your heart rhythm will begin to smooth out. The chaotic pattern will become coherent. You will feel the warmth, the tingling, the expansion. That is the electromagnetic field generating. That is the portal, beginning to open. Step 3. Recognize yourself. AS the vibration. Here is where most people get stuck. They feel the vibration and they think, "Oh, I am experiencing something. I am feeling a vibration." No, that is still separation. That is the observer, separate from the observed. You are not a person experiencing a vibration. You are the vibration. There is no separate you. There is just consciousness vibrating at different frequencies. Your body, your awareness, the field around you. It is all one thing. It is all monad. When you recognize this, when you dissolve the boundary, when you stop being separate from the vibration and realize you are the vibration, coherence locks in, the portal stabilizes, and suddenly you are not in your body looking out. You are everywhere. You are the monad, experiencing itself through this particular focal point you call your body. Step 4. Stay in the frequency. The portal doesn't just open once, it is meant to stay open. Jesus lived with his portal open, constantly. This is your natural state too. But you will need to practice. The habit of the mind is strong. You must retune your instrument, drop into your heart, multiple times a day. When you are waiting in line, when you are sitting in traffic, when you feel stress rising, Stop. Drop into your heart. Feel, don't think. Recognize yourself as the vibration. The more you do this, the more your body stabilizes in this original frequency. Eventually, it becomes your baseline. The portal stays open. When your body activates as a portal to the monad, several things happen. Things the church definitely did not want you discovering. First, you stop needing external authority. When you can access monad consciousness directly, when you can feel the truth of the universe vibrating in your own chest, who do you need to ask for permission? Who do you need to tell you what is true? You don't need priests. You don't need rituals. You don't need sacred buildings. You have direct connection. The intermediaries, the gatekeepers, become obsolete. This is exactly what the church feared. Second, your body becomes self-healing. In the state of coherence, your body's natural healing mechanisms amplify exponentially. Why? Because coherence is the opposite of the fight or flight stress state. It signals to your nervous system, to every cell, that you are safe. It activates the parasympathetic rest and repair mode. Coherence removes the interference. It removes the static. It allows your body's innate intelligence, the monad consciousness within it, to do its job. Jesus healed others by bringing them into coherence with his own field. He taught that you can do this for yourself. Third, you recognize matter as malleable. This is the one that truly threatens established power. When you realize your body is consciousness, and you realize consciousness creates reality, you understand that matter is not fixed. Matter is energy. Energy responds to frequency. Consciousness responds to coherent frequency. Jesus walked on water, transformed matter, and resurrected his body, not through supernatural power, but through a perfect understanding that matter is just consciousness, and he was the master of his own frequency. You will not instantly walk on water, but you will start noticing reality responding to your coherent state. Synchronicities increase, the right people appear, the right opportunities manifest, obstacles dissolve. This is not magic. It is physics. A coherent frequency affects the quantum field. The quantum field is what your physical reality emerges from. You change the frequency, you change the reality. Fourth, and most importantly, you stop fearing death. When your body is a portal, when you have directly, physically experienced yourself as the monad, as the infinite field, as the consciousness that is everything, death becomes obviously not real. Your body is a temporary form the monad is wearing. When the body dissolves, the monad, you do not. Jesus proved this with the resurrection, not to show that he was special, but to show what is true for everyone. The church needs you to fear death. Fear of death makes you controllable. It makes you need salvation. It makes you dependent on their brand of afterlife. But when your body is an open portal, when you have experienced yourself as infinite, eternal consciousness, death loses all its power over you, and a person who does not fear death cannot be controlled. This teaching is emerging now for a reason. The old power structures are collapsing. The church's control is weakening. The information they suppressed for centuries in places like Nag Hammadi is now available to everyone, instantly, and consciousness itself is shifting. More people than ever are spontaneously discovering that their bodies are portals, not through religion, through direct experience. They are dropping into their hearts. They are feeling the coherence. They are recognizing themselves as the monad, and they are realizing this is what Jesus was teaching all along. You are part of this wave. That is why you are here. That is why you found this. That is why something inside you recognizes the truth in these words. Your body is ready. It is ready to activate as a portal. The frequency that was hidden is now being revealed. Not to chosen ones, not to gurus, but to anyone willing to do the one thing the church told you never to do, to drop out of your head and into your heart. The church hid this because they knew it would end their power, and they were right. The moment you activate your body as a portal, you become ungovernable, not rebellious, not chaotic, just free. You don't need their permission. You don't need their validation. You don't need their salvation. You have direct access. You always have. You just forgot. Jesus tried to remind you. They buried his teaching. But the body remembers. The frequency is encoded in your cells. You just need to allow it. The teaching is simple. Jesus taught that your body is a portal to the monad, not a prison, not something sinful, a sacred doorway, every cell vibrating at the frequency of source. The church hid this teaching. They hid the frequency. They built an empire on your forgetfulness. But you cannot hide truth forever. They failed because they could not change what your body fundamentally is. They could only make you forget. And now, you remember. Your body is a portal. The frequency is coherence. The access is in your heart. Jesus taught this 2,000 years ago. The teaching survived. And now, it is yours. The portal is ready. Are you? If you activate your body as a portal, if you drop into your heart and feel the shift into coherence, comment, "My body is the portal," below. Share what happened. Your experience, your truth, might be the exact light another person needs to trust their own body's wisdom. The teaching is real. The portal is open.